Most early stage business owners spend almost all of their marketing energy trying to find the next new customer. And I get it. Growth feels like it means more, get more, do more, sell more, right? But the fastest path to a profitable, sustainable business is not always out there. Sometimes it's already sitting in your customer list. So today we're going to talk about how to work with what you already have. Welcome back to Simplifying Small Business from the Growth Table. I am Karen Velez, a multi-passionate entrepreneur with 25 plus years building small businesses and helping others to do the same. We keep things practical and doable and built for real life around here so that you can spend more time on the parts of your business that actually light you up. We are in May now, which means spring has finally kicked in, and for a lot of small business owners, this is when things start to pick up. We're past the Q1 slump, new customers are coming in, new opportunities are showing up, and it's tempting to pour all of your energy into chasing the new. That's exactly why this is the perfect time to talk about what happens after someone buys from you for the first time. The thing we have to remember is your first customers are not just a transaction. They are the foundation of your business's reputation, your referral network, and your long-term revenue. And if you're only focused on finding new people, you're leaving some of the most valuable growth you have access to sitting completely untouched. So by the end of the episode, you'll understand exactly why retention beats acquisition in the early stages. You'll have a simple 3-step routine for keeping customers coming back, and you'll know how to ask for referrals without feeling awkward or salesy about it. Let's get into it. So acquiring a new customer or a client costs significantly more in terms of time and money and energy than keeping an existing one. And a retained customer doesn't just buy again, they buy more confidently, they refer their friends, and they become a part of the foundation that makes your business feel stable and real. In the early stages of business, when your budget is super tight and your time is very limited, doubling down on the people who already trust you is not playing it safe, it's playing it smart. Let's start with the real numbers because they are genuinely eye-opening. Research from Bain & Company, which was published in the Harvard Business Review, found that increasing customer retention rates by just 5% increases profits by 25 to, get this, 95%. Sit with that for a second. A 5% improvement in how well you keep your customers can nearly double your profits. That is a strategy. And according to research by even the U.S. Small Business Administration, acquiring a new customer typically costs 5 to 7 times more than retaining an existing one. And that cost includes all the marketing, the outreach, the follow-up, the trust building required to get a stranger to buy from you for the very first time. A customer who already knows you, who already trusts you, and who already has a positive experience with you skips most of that process. And then there's also the concept of customer lifetime value, often abbreviated as CLV. This is the total revenue that a customer generates over the entire time they do business with you. In the early stages of business, most owners think about the first transaction. What we should be thinking about is the relationship. And this does not matter if you're offering products or services. It applies to both. So let's just use a very simple example to break down that math. Let's say that you're a bookkeeper and you charge $300 a month for a basic monthly package. A new client who signs on and stays for 2 years is worth $7,200 to your business. Now, if your cost of acquisition, your cost of getting that customer was $150, that brings us to a little over $7,000, $7,050, okay? So a new client who you acquired for that same $150 in marketing costs, but who left after 3 months is worth $900 minus that $150, and now you're back to hunting for their replacement. The math strongly favors keeping the people you already have. Now, this is not to say you should stop looking for new customers. You absolutely should. Every healthy business does both. But in the early stages, when you have limited bandwidth, focusing more heavily on retention often creates more stability and more revenue and more referrals than focusing disproportionately on acquisition. So your first customers are not just buyers. They're more important than that. They are believers. They took a chance on a business that was still finding its footing. They chose you before you had a long track record or a full portfolio or a wall of testimonials. That kind of early trust has real weight to it, and it deserves to be honored. So there are three things that make early customers uniquely valuable beyond the revenue that they bring. And the first one is that they help shape your reputation. So in the early stages of your business, you don't have hundreds of customer experiences to draw from. You have a handful. Every single one of those experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, becomes part of your story. The customers who have a genuinely great experience with you early on are the ones who tell people, who leave reviews, who refer their colleagues, and who give you the most social proof that makes the next customer easier to acquire. Okay, this is why the effort that you put into a single early customer's experience is not disproportionate. It compounds. The second thing is that they give you information that you can't get any other way. Your early customers can tell you what they actually needed, what surprised them, what they wished you offered, and what they would pay for next. That feedback is more valuable than any market research because it comes from people with real skin in the game. A customer who has paid you and had a positive experience is one of the best sources of intelligence you will ever have about your own business. Are you asking them for it? If not, that's one of the steps that we're going to build today, okay? And then the third thing is they are your most natural referral source. Word of mouth from a satisfied customer carries way more weight than almost any marketing message you could craft, right? 92% of people trust recommendations from friends and family above all other forms of advertising. And that comes from the Nielsen's research team, okay? Your early customers, the ones who had a great experience and feel genuinely good about working with you, are sitting on a goldmine of referral potential. The question is whether you're making it easy and natural for them to use it. I am constantly talking about removing friction points in our business when it comes to our customers, and this is just one more example of that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a simple 3-step routine for customer retention that you can implement right away and maintain in less than 30 minutes a week once it's running. You don't have to have a customer relationship management program or any kind of elaborate system for this, okay? We're basically just building 3 consistent habits. So the first step to this is the post-experience follow-up. Within 48 to 72 hours of a customer completing a purchase, whether that's receiving their order or finishing a project with you, whatever that is, reach out personally, not with an automated sequence. We want to send an actual real human message. This could be an email, this could be a DM, however it was that you were communicating before. It doesn't need to be long, but it does need to be genuine, you know? So it's just something like, hey, just wanted to check in and make sure everything arrived as expected and that you're happy with it. If you have any questions or there's anything I can help with, please don't hesitate to reach out. Or if you were providing a service, it could be, oh, it was such a great pleasure working with you on whatever the project was. I'd love to hear how things are going once you've had a chance to settle in. And please let me know if anything comes up. I'm always here, okay? That's just 2 or 3 sentences. You sent it personally. You're not using any kind of template language. But this matters because most businesses never follow up after a sale, okay? The follow-up alone sets you apart. It signals that you care about the experience, not just the transaction, and it opens the door to the next step. I will give you a very real example that I quite literally just experienced today. I'm going to grab something here. So as a amateur athlete, I go to our local fitness wellness store. It's Supplement Superstore. And I've been there on and off a few times. And every once in a while, one of the guys that I work with will send me a card in the mail after a recent visit. And they very specifically tell me, hey, it's so and so from Supplement Superstore, and I appreciated you coming by the store, and it was awesome talking to you. And they talk about what it was that we talked about. Running ultras is impressive. It's a huge goal of mine, is what he says. You're crushing it. Keep doing awesome things. There was no sales in this. Absolutely none, right? But what companies do that? Not very many. So the next time I need to go get some protein powder or some creatine or something, guess where I'm going? I'm going back to Supplement Superstore, regardless of whether auto is there or not, okay? So that is just one example of what I'm talking about. That stands out to your customers. So step 2 is to create a touch point habit. So a touch point, when I say touch point, I'm meaning any intentional low pressure contact with a past customer that is not a sales pitch, okay? Just like that card I just read you. It is a reminder that you exist, that you are still serving people well, and that you value the relationship. So for most small businesses, 2 to 4 touch points per month per customer is a reasonable rhythm. Depending on how many customers you have, this might mean just a few touches a week in total. So some examples of this would be just a brief check-in email. Hey, hope you're having a great spring. Just thinking of you, wanted to say hi, right? Or sending them a helpful resource, an article, a tip, a tool that is directly relevant to something that they care about. A heads up about something new. If you've got a new offer coming or an upcoming workshop or a seasonal product that they might love, okay? That might border on sales, but it's really not. It's just letting them know that something that they might value is coming available. A personal note, if something reminded you of them, right? A conversation, a piece of content, an event, tell them that, right? It takes 30 seconds and it is so remarkably effective. And then think about maybe seasonal check-ins, right? As we move towards summer, reaching out to ask how business is going or how a project you worked on together is progressing. That is completely natural. The key is that touch points are not sales pitches in disguise. They are genuine, low pressure contact that keeps the relationship warm. When a customer eventually needs what you offer again or knows someone else who does, you want to be the name that comes to mind first because they've heard from you recently and it felt good. It was a positive experience. And then the third step is the appreciation gesture. Every customer who does business with you deserves to feel like they made a good choice. And the most powerful way to reinforce that feeling is with a simple, unexpected expression of appreciation. And I want to be clear about the word unexpected here. An appreciation gesture that every customer receives as part of an automated sequence is nice, but it's not particularly memorable, okay? An appreciation gesture that feels personal and maybe even slightly surprising, that's the one that gets talked about. So, some different ideas based on different budgets and business types. Maybe it's just a simple handwritten thank you note. Again, like the one that I just got in the mail today, okay? In a world of digital everything, a physical card is genuinely rare. It costs under $1 and the impact is absolutely disproportionate to the price, okay? You can also do maybe a small relevant add-on. So if you're a product-based business, this might be a sample of something new, a small extra that you include with their order or a care card with a personal note, right? For service-based businesses, this might be an extra resource, a template, maybe a checklist that you created that you think would be useful to them. Maybe it's some sort of a loyalty acknowledgement, right? So for customers who have returned more than once, a simple, I really appreciate your continued trust in me goes a really long way. Pair it with something small, a discount on their next order, priority scheduling, or, early access to something new. And you've made them feel genuinely valued. We do this sometimes with customers at our farm stands. If they're coming to us week after week after week and they're buying from us on a regular basis, One of the times they come up and they have a small purchase, we're not charging them. You know what? Thank you so much for being so loyal. Thank you so much for shopping with us all the time. Those items are on the house, okay? That simple gesture blows people away, okay? They really do feel genuinely valued at that point. You can also try a birthday or like business anniversary note, right? If you know when a customer's birthday is, or, if you're service based and you know when they started their own business, a brief note on that day is super memorable. And again, it costs basically nothing but a minute of your time. The goal here is not to spend a lot of money. The goal is to make people seem seen, right? And that is completely within your reach, no matter what stage your business is in. So let's talk about the part that trips most small business owners up, especially in the beginning, and that is asking for referrals. Most business owners know that they should ask. Most business owners don't ask, or they ask so vaguely that nothing happens. Hey, if you know anyone who needs, no. That is the most common referral ask in small businesses, and it's probably the most least effective one because it puts all the work on the customer to figure out who to send your way and why, okay? So we need to make the ask specific and easy and completely natural. The first element of this is the timing, okay? The best time to ask for a referral is directly after a positive experience, okay? After a customer tells you they loved their order, or after a project wraps up and the client says it went great, or after someone writes you a glowing review. That's the moment when their goodwill is at the highest and the ask just feels natural. Do not wait until the relationship has gone cold and then make the ask. A warm customer with fresh enthusiasm is the ideal referral source. The second element of this is specificity. Vague asks get vague results. If you know anyone, right, leaves the customer doing all of the mental work of figuring out who you serve and what you do, and then who they know that fits that category. A specific ask tells them exactly who to look for. So if you are a service-based business, it could say something like, I am currently looking for 2 or 3 new bookkeeping clients, people who run their own product-based small business. If there's anyone in your network that comes to mind, I would be really grateful for an introduction. Okay? That's specific. That tells them who exactly it is that you're looking for in terms of a new client. If you're a product-based business, you could say, if you have a friend who loves this, whatever type of product it is that you're selling, right? And really likes to support small businesses, I would love to be introduced to them. My best customers usually find me through people just like you. Again, if this is somebody who loves your products, it's going to be a no-brainer for them to go, oh yeah, I totally know a friend who, likes all these things, and let me introduce you, okay? If you're a coach or you're a consultant, you can tell a client, you know what, I work best with business owners who are in the early stages and they're feeling overwhelmed by the systems side of things. If there's anyone in your circle that fits that description, I would love to connect with them. Notice what each of these has in common. They describe a specific type of person, not just anyone, right? That specificity makes it easy for your customer to just kind of scan their mental contact list and think, oh, actually, I do know someone like that, okay? And then the third element of this is the low pressure close. End your ask in a way that removes the obligation. All right, so something like, there's no pressure at all. I just wanted you to know that referrals mean the world to small businesses like mine, and I trust the people in your circle. Or if no one comes to mind, that's completely fine. I just wanted to put it out there. And of course, if there's anything I can do to return the favor, just say the word. This low pressure matters because it signals that you value the relationship that you have with that customer or client more than you value the transaction. And that is exactly the type of energy that makes people want to refer you, okay? But we want to make this easy. Again, we want to remove as much friction as possible from the process. If a customer wants to refer you, the path to do that should be simple and it should be very clear. So that might look like having a direct link to your booking page or a contact form that you can share really easily in a message that they can share, okay? Or having 1 or 2 sentence description of what you do and who you serve that your customers or clients can literally copy and paste into a text or an email that they can send to a friend. This also could look like just making sure that your Google business profile or your Apple business profile or your website or whatever is so easy to find that when someone does a search for your name, they land somewhere that makes a really great first impression. Your customers and your clients who appreciate you and love your products or your services, they want to help you. So make this easy for them. Okay, quick recap. Acquiring a new customer costs 5 to 7 times more than retaining an existing one. Retention is not a consolation strategy, okay? It's a strategy, but it's a growth strategy. A 5% improvement in customer retention can increase profitability 25 to 95%. So small improvements compound significantly. Your early customers are uniquely valuable. They shape your reputation, they provide business intelligence, and they are your most natural referral source. Your 3-step retention routine should be your post-experience follow-up, regular touch points, and appreciation gestures. Effective referral asks are timed well, they are specific about who you're looking for, and they are low pressure in tone, and you need to make it easy to refer you. Remove the friction wherever you can. All right, next week we're talking about the yes trap, when saying yes to work is actually costing you money. We're going to look at how to identify a bad fit client before you say yes, what it actually costs you in time and margin when you don't, and how to decline very gracefully without burning a relationship. It's one of those episodes that early stage owners really tend to wish they'd heard about sooner. And if you are looking for a very supportive place to keep building your business off social media without the noise, then come join us in the Growth Table Small Business Collective. We have monthly workshops, we have a resource library that you immediately get access to, peer support, access to me for questions and guidance. It is a really great place to grow your business. Head to growthtablesbc.com or you can find the link in the show notes. You've got this, and I am rooting for you, and I will see you next Wednesday.